everybody, welcome back to another video here at my channel. Thank you for stopping by. Today I have a video talking all about brush replacements for nail polishes. This is something I've been kind of dabbling in since I got into more like the indie polishes a couple years ago, and I had a suggestion from a viewer that they wanted to see a video on what brushes work with what polishes. She has a few polishes in her collection that she said she's been trying to find brushes for, and everything she has doesn't fit those polishes. So I did some research. I have a sheet of paper in front of me talking all about the research that I found, what is compatible with what polish, pricing for each of these items. There is one brand in particular I am not sure of. I wrote it down, but I don't have any backstory on this brand for a brush replacement, but I will still discuss it here in just a second. I just don't know a huge amount about that particular brand, but the website that I got most of my research off of was the KB Shimmer website. The main one that most of you are probably familiar with, if you have changed brushes out, is going to be KB Shimmer. This is a brand that I found through YouTube videos, I think. They also happen to be the cheapest option for brushes. They range from, let me see where I wrote it down at here, hold on. Okay, so KB Shimmer offers the brushes by themselves, which is a straight up paddle brush for 15 cents each. You can get a brush and cap combination, which some polishes will need both of those, and I'll talk more about that here in a minute. You can get the brush cap combo from KB Shimmer for 33 cents each. So first off, they work with Starly. That is something I just tried before I filmed this. They work beautifully. The caps are compatible with KB Shimmer brushes. The caps on, what is this? Colors by Laro are compatible with KB Shimmer brushes. 90 Lacquer is compatible with KB Shimmer brushes as well. Lily Pad is another brand that works beautifully with KB Shimmer brushes. The caps on all three of these polishes are all the same. 90, this polish from Lily Pad, Starly, Colors by Laro are all identical caps. They're the same caps across these polishes. The brushes work beautifully inside those caps. You don't have to change caps out or anything. Emily Damali is another option. I did just change out all my brushes. I saw somewhere, somebody posted on a video of mine telling me that KB Shimmer works with Emily Damali, and I'm like, oh good, I gotta try this. They work beautifully. You can keep the caps on these polishes as well, just change out the brushes. They are so versatile. I did not know most of these polishes work with KB Shimmer. This is pretty cool. Different Dimensions is another one. I don't like the brushes on her polishes, so I changed these out. The caps are compatible as well, so you're not having to swap out both things. One thing that I found doing my research, and I tested out this theory and was floored. I was shocked by this. This brand, Sinful Colors, is compatible with KB Shimmer brushes. Their caps fit the brushes beautifully, and I looked at it and I thought, wait a minute, I don't think this is going to work. Tested out one polish, and you guys, they work beautifully. So if you have Sinful Colors polishes and you're not a fan of the brushes, KB Shimmer fit the caps beautifully. Whether it is the shiny caps or the basic caps, they fit beautifully. So here is another option. This is one of their Essentials polishes. They work beautifully across the board. The brushes fit all of these caps because their caps are the same, just like different colors. One thing I read that I don't think is going to work is LA Colors works with KB Shimmer or Cupcake brushes. I did my research, and unfortunately that's not going to be the case. I have yet to find anything that is going to work with these bottles. The KB Shimmer and Cupcake brushes are too tall for one thing. They're going to end up warped and frayed and unusable. If you use them, they're too tall, and you're going to have the bristles smashing down on the bottom of this bottle because the bottles aren't tall enough. And you'd have to change out the caps, and that's the research I found. You have to change brushes and caps. They stated they were compatible with Cupcake polishes, Cupcake brushes if you use the caps. The Cupcake caps I have on hand right now do not screw on to the LA Colors bottles at all. I tried. It doesn't work. So I decided to play around with some ideas for the LA Colors polishes. I wanted to find something that I could use to replace the brushes. If you have LA Colors, you know what they look like, but this is the traditional LA Colors style brush and cap situation. So I was trying to see if I could use a wide paddle brush on the little bottles. These are 13 milliliter bottles. The brushes from Indigo Bananas state that they are mini paddle brushes and they'll fit bottles that are 8 milliliters. I have an empty bottle here. This is just one of my polishes I use to thin out like my Rogue Lacquer toppers. I think this is like an 8 ml bottle, if I recall correctly, and it has a brush in it. So this is what the little 8 ml brush looks like, and I wanted to share it up against a traditional paddle brush. So this is what you have. You have a paddle brush from, I think it's Cupcake, and then you have this little tiny standard brush that I thought, oh, this will work if I can get the minis from the Indigo Bananas. Well, my trouble that I've had here is trying to find a cap that would fit. I first tried this one from Nail Hoot. This doesn't actually screw on. It's too narrow, so that doesn't work. My little cap from the empty polish bottle doesn't work for this either. So then I thought, okay, let me pull a cap off one of my KB shimmer polishes. So that's what I did. So when you do this, the KB shimmer caps do indeed fit the LA Colors bottles, but I have yet to find a brush that actually works. I don't have anything that this particular mini will fit in, and the cap that this one goes in doesn't screw on my LA Colors bottle. So I'm like, all right, what do I do? And if you put it in, it does fit snugly into the KB shimmer cap, but look how short this is. I mean, you could possibly try to, paint your nails, but I don't think this is going to work. And you can't reuse this option with the way the caps are. There's not much I can do. I haven't found anything that's actually going to work for this. I was wondering if the Indigo Bananas would work, but I don't think their caps will actually fit these, unfortunately. So moving on to a couple other little tidbits for the KB Shimmer brushes. I have found that across the board they work beautifully. There's only a few different brands that they may have to be used with their caps because the caps from other polishes aren't compatible with the brushes, but the majority of what I've tried actually works beautifully that way. I did see on this website that if you have like an older Bluebird Lacquer polish and it has the smaller brush, you would have to replace the cap and the brush. I believe my research says anything from 2019 to 2020 and before has to be changed out, brush, cap, and all. And that has to be a Cupcake polish, brush, and cap. What I have on hand is the newer Bluebird Lacquers, so they already have the brushes in there that I prefer. You can use KB Shimmer on anything that came out in late 2020 to now. KB Shimmer works. I'm not sure. They must have almost changed out their bottles, possibly. I really don't know, but research had stated that they originally would have to be the Cupcake brush and cap. And Cupcake, it's a great option. They are a little bit more expensive. Cupcake brushes are 25 cents each, and then you get a brush cap combo for 50 cents each. But they are very versatile in what brands they fit. They are said to fit Glam Polish, which I know that's true, but you do have to do the brush cap combo for Glam Polish. Bear Polish is one that Cupcake is supposed to work for. I don't have any from that brand, so I can't tell you offhand. Baroness X is another one that it's supposed to work for because of the bottle size. Then the Bluebird Lacquers, anything from before 2019, 2020, you would have to use Cupcake polish brushes. Lacquer can be used with Cupcake brushes as well as Death Valley nails. I don't have those switched out to where I could tell you, yay or nay how they work. It'd be kind of just trial and error for yourself if they would work that way. And a big one for this, with just brush only, is your ILNP polishes. I was not looking forward to putting white caps on my ILNP polishes, and I did a little bit of research, played around with them, and I'm like, hey, the ILNP caps fit the Cupcake brushes, and I was like, this is awesome. I don't have to mess with the white caps, because when I ordered Cupcake polish brushes and caps, I did more brushes than I did brush cap combos, because I wasn't sure what I would have to do, and I bought them specifically for my Glam Polish polishes. With the Glam polishes, you have to change the brush and the cap. The brushes, the caps on the Glam polishes don't work with Cupcake brushes. They've changed things around a little bit and things aren't shaped the same. So you do have to change both, which is an added expense. And I'm kind of like, I think I'm going to leave my brushes as is. If I want to change them, I will, but I'm not going to do that with everything because I've gotten a lot of Glam polishes lately and it would get kind of expensive. So I'm just going to use them as is unless they drive me nuts and I feel like I need to change them. So Cupcake polishes work great. I don't think I'm missing anything else for that one. My Baroness X polishes all have the wide brush, so I'm assuming older polishes probably would need replacements with Cupcake. I'm not really sure. I'm just hopping in here to add a little something to this video. I did go through and do a little comparison of some of the brushes that I have so you could see what they look like. I had forgotten to mention in the video that Rogue Lacquer and Cupcake polish brushes are identical. So if you have some Rogue Lacquer polishes that maybe don't have the good wide paddle brush, you can use Cupcake brushes with the Rogue Lacquer caps. I have done that and there's no issues at all. They are identical brushes when you look at them side by side. So that is something I had in my notes and completely forgot to mention. So one that I did change out to try with KB Shimmer is China Glaze Now or Nova. And this is what it looks like. It's still usable. Nothing against it. It's usable, no issues, but it is a little bit shorter than what you would have if you use the standard brush that comes with China Glaze. There's definitely a difference here. This is the traditional brush that comes in China Glaze versus the KB Shimmer. So you do have not a huge amount that you lose when you're changing the brushes out. So it definitely is workable, but I feel like it might be a little bit tricky the lower the polish gets. So just know that ahead of time. It might be a little bit different. They work in the China Glaze brushes, in the China Glaze bottles just fine, but you may like it, you may not like it. So just know that ahead of time. One other one is the OPIs. I've talked about OPI brushes before. KB Shimmer works great in them. I don't have an issue. The brushes on the OPI bottles aren't quite as tall as the China Glaze, so it makes it a little bit nicer with application and everything. So it works either way. Hollow Taco is another one that you can change out for KB Shimmer. They work beautifully. So if you have Hollow Tacos, don't like the brushes, KB Shimmers are great contenders, as is Glisten and Glow. If you have either of those polishes, both of those work great. Different dimensions, I think we've already talked about. Emily DeMolly. I did see Cuticula can be changed out for KB Shimmer. I've never changed out a Cuticula polish, so I don't know that for sure. I'm assuming these are probably older bottles, as well as Linby Designs. The current Linby's Designs polishes I have in my collection have the brushes that are wide paddle brushes. So I'm assuming this goes for older polishes. So just also keep that in mind. There's a brand, Dolish Polish. It states KB Shimmer works if they are the round bottles. I don't know anything about this brand, so you'll have to let me know in the comments if you have experience with it. I don't know if they changed up the brushes. I want to say, I think maybe they did. Are they square bottles now? Possibly? I think so. From what I've seen on a couple videos, I think Dolish Polish is that square rectangle type bottle. So these brushes won't work for those, but they will if they're round. One other one I saw is Color Club, maybe a little bit tricky. I haven't had an issue. I have used Color Club polishes in the old style bottles where they have the C on the cap. Those work with the brushes just fine, and I've also used the newer ones that come in like the TJ Maxx sets that you can get. They have a rounded top to them, and the brushes work beautifully for those as well. I do think, though, one second. So I did just happen to think about this. I have a polish from Color Club. This is, what is this? Glow Get 'em. I was going to change this one out, and it wasn't actually compatible with KB Shimmer. And I'm not sure how that happened. One polish I have from them, it's a neon. It has the little C here on the cap. I think that's what this would be called. It's just like a little design on the top of the caps. That polish must have come with a paddle brush already in it, because I will say these are not compatible because I tried that. So the brushes on these aren't terrible. So this is kind of the older style Color Club brush. It's cut straight across, very similar to Starly, Emily Damali, Colors by Leroux, things like that. They have these little brushes. I will say though, I think this actually isn't compatible because of the inside of the cap. So in order for me to change out the brush on this particular polish, I would have to replace the cap as well, and I don't have anything to do that, so I haven't done it. This I use as a topper, so it's not a big deal. So you will have to kind of play around with it depending on what Color Club polishes you have. They may need a cap and brush combo. I think what I was thinking of before is they ended up already coming with a wider brush, if I remember right. I don't know anything about buying the KB Shimmer brushes with the caps because I've never done that before, but that is also an option just in case you can't change the brush out by itself. So have Garden Path Lacquer is another one. They work beautifully with the brushes, and I don't remember if I said that already. You don't need the caps to replace the brushes. The brushes fit perfectly in the Garden Path Lacquer or Lollipop Posse caps. Finger Paints supposedly works with KB Shimmer. I've never changed them out, so I don't know that for sure. Quick Exotic, Scofflaw, Spellbound, Turtle Tootsies, some Wildflower Lacquer polishes work with this. I will say that with Wildflower Lacquer, and even the KB Shimmer, well, maybe it's not KB Shimmer. Some of the brushes that come in these polishes are too fanned out of a paddle brush, if that makes sense. Kind of like Wildflower, that might be what I'm thinking. Wildflowers fan out just a little too much when I go to use them. So that's why maybe you could change them out if they just fan out too much. And that's what one commenter said on this website, is they're too fanned out, so they change them for the KB Shimmer brushes that don't fan out quite as much, if that makes sense. And then Uber Chic also works for these as well. I have seen where some older Morgan Taylor bottles can be changed out with the KB Shimmer brushes. I haven't done that, so I don't really know if that's the case. But that's an option too. So I think we covered everything. I don't think I've missed anything else. If you, we did miss a, yeah. Okay, so the one brand that I don't have any info on, the blog post that I will link down below will state some polishes take a brand called Indigo Bananas. I have never heard of that brand. I don't know anything about them. I'm hopping on again real quick to update you guys on some more info that I found. I did research on the Indigo Bananas site, and they offer quite a lot of additional nail polish stuff. You have a couple different varieties of their brushes. You have mixing balls, different sized bottles that you can pick up. From what I could see, their brushes are 25 cents a piece. The brush combo I think was 50, but they also have an option to buy a little mini size paddle brush. Now I immediately thought, oh, maybe this will work for LA Colors. It states it's for 8 milliliter bottles though, so I don't think it's going to be tall enough to work for the LA Colors, if that makes sense. LA Colors are 13 mil, so I don't think the two would work, but the traditional full-size paddle brush is too long, so I'm not sure. You guys have to let me know if you've played around with it with LA Colors. Let me know what works, but definitely a good option for the Indigo Bananas site if you're in the market for anything like this. It's pretty cool, so check it out if you haven't, if you're in the market for something like that. They are 25 cents for the brushes or 45 cents for a brush and a cap combination. Some of these polishes take Indigo Bananas brushes. There's also DRK that has brushes as well as Sassy Sauce, but from the research I did, Cupcake, Sassy Sauce, DRK are the same brushes across the board. So if you already have Cupcake polishes, brushes, you wouldn't need to purchase anything else. So definitely read through that blog post. It's somebody through Sephora, I think, posted it, and it is very, very helpful. Without that, I wouldn't have been able to put this up for you guys. So if I missed anything, I'll list it in the comment section down below. But try to do a little bit of trial and error research if you are in the market for changing brushes. I got all excited about changing out my LA colors and then realized that's not going to work unless you have a brush cap combo. And I feel like, as I said earlier, the brushes are not going to be compatible with the bottles because they're too short. So the brushes are too long for the size of the bottle and you're going to mess up your brush, which is going to make it unusable. So I will just leave mine go and use them as is. But that is it. I think I have covered everything. If I missed anything, feel free to comment down below. Give us any input on this. I did forget to mention Cirque Colors. That was another important one. Cirque Colors is one that's going to be a brush cap combo from KB Shimmer. I cannot change them out with the current caps that are on Cirque Colors. They don't work. I have had to change out the cap and brush, and I just took one off of an old Color Club bottle, I think, that I wasn't using. I think I got a duplicate bottle and I was destashing one of them, and I thought, let's just do it this way so it works that way. But you can't change the brush without changing the cap on some of the older bottles, so just FYI there. I think most of the new ones, like the neons, come with already paddle brushes in those, so I haven't had to change them. But just know that in case you have Cirque Colors. They're a little bit tricky trying to replace, but I did see where you can do it that way, but it says older brushes or older bottles aren't compatible with the caps that they come with, so you'd have to do both. So that's another little hiccup, but it's an option as well if you don't like the skinny brush. So that is it. Thank you so much for staying along with me for this lengthier video. Hopefully this is helpful to any of you that are looking to change out brushes. I will do my best to list everything down below, and if there is anything I missed, I'll put it in a pinned comment down below as well.